Abram married his half-sister Sarah. But it doesn't say they had the same, doesn't say which way.
Oh,
Did you have it in there?
Yeah, see, my Bible doesn't say the half-sister.
No,
Sarah.
mine doesn't either.
Mine just says
No.
Abram's wife was Sarai.
That's
Okay.
all, yeah, that's what mine
too, that's
says.
what mine
Donna,
Yeah,
says.
mine
what-
says half-sister.
What version do you have?
Living Bible, paraphrase.
Okay, okay. Usually when you get paraphrased Bibles, they add a little bit more, a little bit
Okay.
extra.
Okay.
Like the Message Bible, Eugene Peterson's, he really expands on the text. He gives you a lot more. And so paraphrase and thought for thought, sometimes a little bit different.
Okay.
But that's a good clue.
Yeah, mine doesn't say that and hers does. That's
Mine does.
interesting. So he took some of the footnotes and added them into
Must
the
have.
Bible.
Must have
Somebody
added
read
it to
it.
there.
All right, so the angels leave and they walk towards Sodom. And we get the idea that it was later, but let's see, what can we figure out here? What time it
See,
was?
16, the men stood up, because when they got to Lot's house, it was evening, wasn't it?
Let's see
Yeah, I'd say it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
That evening, the two angels came to the entrance of the city of Sodom, and Lot was there.
Okay, good.
So I think that was the verse 1 of 19 is what mine says anyway.
So any idea how far the great trees of Mamre were to Sodom and Gomorrah to reach it overnight?
I don't have
Was
any
it here?
maps. Let me see if I have something
It seems
back.
like it happened
So if the
with
two
that.
angels arrived, then at
Do I
that
have a map?
point,
Let's see.
Jesus or God is born?
Well, God is still with Abram, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you too.
because he's
Okay.
He
having a
sent the two down.
conversation with
Uh-huh.
him from 16 on through the end, because that's when he does his great bargaining.
So the angels were on
It's
a
great
mission.
bargaining.
Yeah,
They knew ahead
Yeah.
of time
Yeah.
what they were gonna do.
Yeah, because he said, my Bible says, God was questioning, should I hide my plan from Abraham?
Right.
And because Abraham shall become a mighty nation, and he will be source of blessing. And I've picked him to have godly descendants and a godly household. So, but then the Lord did tell him. that-
And I
Why?
think he told him because he wanted him to know so that he could pass it down into the generations.
Yeah.
That this is.
Well, and Lot was
There's
there.
Yes, and consequences.
His nephew was there.
Right.
Well, yeah, that's why he wants, that's why
It
he
shows how
bargains.
much that God really loved him, because, not only did they laugh at him, did they laugh at God, but then they're like, well, don't do that, and they're trying to talk him out of destroying these people who are so evil.
Was God,
yeah.
was God one, I thought there was only two that went into.
There was.
Yeah.
There
Sodom.
was,
just the
but
two
meanwhile,
angels.
they're
The
back
two
there
angels, but God was
bargaining.
back to bargaining, yes.
He was
Right.
back with
Yeah.
Abraham.
That's what I thought, yeah.
So let's talk about let's make a deal.
Yeah.
So why did God allow Abram to bargain with him?
I think God knew that there were not 10 people there
Sure
that
he
was
did.
going to be not evil. I think he himself knew that was the bargaining chip that Abraham was using wasn't valid.
Yeah.
I think, anyway. I think Abraham was wanting to make sure that everybody down there was evil before God destroyed it, and I think he kept questioning.
Yeah.
Well, so do you think Abraham negotiated because of Lot, mainly? Or
I
not?
Could
thought he
be.
wanted to get Lot and his
That's why he
family
wanted
out
Lot
of there.
out
He
of
did.
Yeah.
That's what I thought, but
Because he
it
was surely,
he kept saying fewer and fewer, but he wanted to
Right.
get his
But
family out of there.
was everyone, and trying not to question, but everyone in that city was evil? The children? Everyone?
We get the idea that pretty much everybody was evil.
Evil.
And we'll find out in a
And
little
that,
bit.
I have,
it's all they knew.
well,
But like
yes,
the kids,
but
that's all they
tiny
saw,
kids.
probably.
'Cause he destroyed
But yeah.
everything, animals, everything,
Yeah.
Yep.
everything.
One of the notes I ran across that Abram had compassion for all the people. He had true faith, true
Yep.
love. Tried to save as many as he could.
And what I found was that God allowed Abram to bargain with him because God is merciful.
Yeah.
even though he knew the majority of the people in Sodom and Gomorrah were evil, God is always merciful. He'll always try to give us the last chance. Just
Well, it
like
would
Ben
be-
said earlier, even though we're sinning, God is with us.
It would be that it was in a kind of a weird way, kind of making them feel, that if you're righteous, you are okay. Kind of a comforting type, in a
Sure.
weird way.
Well, it's kind of, I thought it was kind of comical the way Abraham kept,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
kept at it.
Keep
you know.
going
In
down.
my-
Going down 5 at a time.
In my,
going down 10 at a time.
in my footnotes, it says that perhaps Abraham stopped at 10 because he was counting while praying. Lot, his wife, possibly 2 sons, and at least 2 married daughters and their husbands, and 2 unmarried daughters.
Really?
Yes,
Wow,
that's
there's
what
that
it
many?
says.
That's what it says here.
So they were counting down. So he's probably praying, going, "Okay, Lord, 10. Can you go to 10?"
Well, so
So
let's go see if we
So
can
I
find
didn't
how
think
many.
that many got out. because
I didn't
just-
either.
They didn't.
No,
The
that's
son-in-laws, who they call son-in-laws, even
the
though they're not
son-in-laws didn't
married,
go.
they
Well,
Well,
didn't
He
go.
had,
They-
she said he had 2 daughters that were
Possibly
married.
2
and 2 that weren't.
sons, his wife, 2
I know
sons,
she said that, but I
at
didn't
least
see
2
that.
married daughters and their husbands,
Okay,
and
let's
2
see.
unmarried daughters.
Let's see if we can find how many people are in his family.
1904, it says in 1912.
Okay, so
1904.
1904.
And 1912. Sorry, 1914 and 1912, sorry. Oh, and 1908. Jeez, there's like 3 or 4 areas.
All right, so let's see here.
So,
I have 2 daughters who have never slept with a man. So that's 2 unmarried daughters.
right.
Okay.
Then there were the men that they were supposed to marry.
And
He
those,
said,
they
get them out of
said
his place,
sons-in-law
son-in-laws,
who were to
sons,
marry him.
daughters, or anyone else,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I didn't think there was that many, but maybe my math was faulty.
And then he said
Ah,
he's selling
okay.
his daughter's fiance, so there's a little discrepancy between
Right.
those verses,
So
just
verse
a little bit.
14,
Mine.
it says, so Lot went out and spoke to his sons-in-law who were pledged to marry his daughters.
Ah,
So all I,
Mine at the bottom
okay.
has, well, for this it's A, and it says pledged to marry or married to.
okay.
So maybe the pledge at that point is like the vows.
Because
They're
that's what he
pledged,
thought
they're
he was
married.
trying to- He was
Yeah,
trying to
name
protect the
only.
entire
So,
family by getting down to 10,
I'm
maybe.
wondering if there isn't
Yeah,
maybe.
just covering all his
a
bases.
difference in speech from back then to now that
Yeah.
that's.
Because I can find 6. The 2 daughters that aren't married, the 2 sons-in-law that are gonna marry their
Right.
daughters, and then
Lot
Lot
and
and his
his
wife.
That's all
So I
that I
did
thought.
6.
Yeah.
Well, he also said possibly 2 sons
Oh.
in 1912.
19.
It does say a son-in-law.
Laws, sons,
Sons,
or
daughters.
daughters, or anyone else in
Well,
the
that's
city.
the angels asking him. Do
Yeah.
you have anyone else here?
Is there anyone else?
For
Yeah.
sons-in-law,
Yeah,
Are
that's
there
right.
any of
daughters,
Yeah.
anybody else in the city that
I
belongs
think
to
Abraham
you?
couldn't count. I think he was just shooting. He
I
was.
think Abram's starting at 10, and as soon as God gave him 10, he says, I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay, what about for down in 15? It says,
Okay.
hurry, take your wife, take your 2 daughters who are here.
Because they're right there.
I took
Yeah.
that as there was 2 other daughters that
Somewhere
were already
else.
married.
Maybe that's true.
That's the way I
It could
interpreted
be.
it.
Could be.
See, but I don't see anybody
you would
staying
think
except the
he'd
2
wanna save his
sons-in-law.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll have to do a little bit more research. And not Cheryl Ann, because she researched last time. So who wants to see how many kids did Lot have? Who wants?
I'll do it.
Okay, Damien's got that. Okay. All right. So let's backtrack a little bit.
Okay.
So the angels they arrived at Sodom and Eden, and Lot was sitting in the gateway of the city.
Was he waiting for them?
What was he doing?
Phone to head?
He was just sitting there as they arrived, so I don't
That's
know.
kind of where they conduct all their business. I
Right.
mean, he must have moved up to be a partially important man. He left from a tent and went to
Yep.
a place he shouldn't have been.
What I found was that people who who wanted to be seen or people of authority always sat at the gate.
Okay.
So either he had some authority or he wanted to appear like he had some authority. One of the two. So he's just hanging out at the gate looking important, and these two guys come along. So what happens next?
Well, he must have recognized them right away as somebody important.
And he invited them to to
Right.
his house
Bowed
as a
down
guest.
also.
Yeah.
Oh, now it's getting good.
He rather insisted.
Right, right. That's the first hint we get that something's not right in Sodom. He says, "My lords," he said, "please turn aside to your servant's house."
Because he calls them lords.
Yep.
So, not capital, but so he knows
Right.
that they are important.
So does anybody else have something different in verse 2?
It mine just kind of said,
No.
it says, "Sirs," he said, "come into my home as my guest for the night. You can get up as early as you like and be on your way again." So it doesn't, he doesn't really call them per
Mine
se
say-
Lord in there,
He said
but
they could wash
Their feet. Yeah, that's what I got too, Jeanette.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did that again.
And then go on your way early in the morning.
But it still says you can wash your feet.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not touching it.
but they didn't want to stay.
No.
They said, "No, we'll just stretch out. You're in the street."
Yeah, we'll
And
sleep here
he
in the square.
insisted. He was very
Yeah.
urgent.
And so I
Strongly,
wonder why
it
they
says.
said that. Just to see what he would do, or?
I don't
why do
know.
you
Maybe
think
they
he
just
did
didn't
it?
want to impose on him. I don't know, but anyhow.
I think he feared for them.
Could be cuss. Oh, he
Yes.
did.
Oh, yeah.
That's
I
why
think
he told him
did.
to come into his house.
Oh, yeah,
Because
Lot
he
feared for him.
knew-
Yes, what was
he
gonna
knew
happen.
what was gonna happen.
Yeah.
Why would you even want to live in a place? It says a lot about Lot that he wanted to live there.
Right, it does. And he,
Because this is bad stuff going on here.
it is.
And have your daughters live there and everything, you know?
Yeah.
Well, he chose that place too. though.
I know, but
Well, your
He and
daughters might
Abram
be safe.
split their
It's
weights. He
your
chose
sons
that.
you'd have to worry about, according to what
Well, he's
my
really given
Bible
up his
says.
daughters though for it.
Yeah, he
We'll
was
get to that,
throwing them.
too.
My, yay.
We'll get to that.
And not have good morals.
Jump on that one.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
That's part of it, that Lot
thought that was
is so
wild.
accustomed to living here that he's willing to give up everything, all his morals, in order to live here in
Well,
Sodom.
maybe because he did think, because he was at the gate, they gave him some power. He liked that.
Yeah.
He wasn't under anybody's rule. He didn't do what Abraham said. He was on his own.
Yeah, he's kind of his own
He's-
boss.
Right, so he's at the front gate, but he didn't like what's going on around it, but he still liked the power.
Yep.
So
So,
wasn't he on his own out in his little tent where he was with his livestock and stuff?
He
Before,
started
yeah.
in the tent
Yeah, he was his own boss
and then
then
went
too.
to the city.
Right, that's it. That's what I thought it said anyway.
It
yeah,
doesn't really say much of his character, does it? Lot's character is kind of,
No, he ended up
Yeah, but he
missing.
chose that. I mean, when he and Abram started, the group started to war, then he chose. It says he chose at a place near the city of Sodom, and the men of this area were unusually wicked. So he
Right,
knew that
it.
when he chose that.
so Lot has an evil side.
So he knew. So then, the Lord then gave Abram, Canaan, I think was it? Told him to stay there. But I think Lot knew that
Yeah.
they were that way
Yep.
before he chose the area he wanted to relocate in.
well, he also chose the best way, you know, because Abraham let him choose which way to go. And he chose, you know, the area that was going to
The
be.
greener grass.
Yeah, the greener grass, basically, yeah.
The richer area or whatever.
Yeah.
And then when we get to the book of Hebrews, we find out more of how Lot actually felt when he lived there in Sodom.
Uh-huh.
So he knew how bad it was. He didn't like it, but he still stayed there.
So why do you think he did?
He just traded everything he
You
had,
think
all
he
his
enjoyed
morals,
because
for
he
riches
enjoyed
and
the riches
maybe
and the wealth?
what he thought was
And the
a
power?
better life. Like sometimes we
More
live
materialistic life,
in
maybe?
more materialistic life. We move to the better neighborhood, the better schools for our kids. But in doing that, we have to live with a different type of people,
Keeping up with the Joneses.
keeping up the Joneses.
Yes.
I don't think these would be good
We were
Joneses to
there.
keep up with.
I don't think I.
We did that
Yeah. Yeah.
in the
Not
corporate
always a lot
world.
of fun.
No, they were always remodeling, and we're like, we can't afford that. They were always like making the houses bigger. And, yeah, it's a it's a change.
Yep.
Couldn't go back there ever.
Okay. And look what happens in verse 3.
Baking bread without yeast.
Right.
Yeah.
versus what Abraham probably did.
He's in a hurry.
Right.
He's in a hurry. Abram used 30 pounds of flour. This guy makes unleavened bread.
Right.
And his wife's not doing any baking.
And 30 pounds.
Yeah, Lot is.
Lot's doing all the work.
And you think you'd have servants and stuff too, wouldn't you?
Well, I don't know. Because the
I don't-
angels asked him, do you have anybody else that belongs to you? That they
Like
would-
he could have saved
I
the
don't think
servants.
he
Save
trusted.
servants.
He didn't. I don't think he trusted servants.
Could be.
Maybe they would
Could
come
be.
on to his daughters or
Well, that could be the
him.
way
I
that
don't. I
town
think he
was.
just wanted them out
Yeah.
on the other side.
That could
So his wife is living the good life, or maybe she's already sleeping. Maybe it was that late. But he makes bread without yeast, so he's in a hurry.
So it didn't take long for the men in the town to come to his house.
Nope.
After eating,
Word got out.
Word got out.
sun up to sundown,
Nasty.
of getting old.
Yep, word got out fast. Before they had gone to bed, all the men from every part of the city of Sodom, both young and old, surrounded the house.
That was very awful of him to offer his daughters.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
That's appalling.
We'll get there.
But he probably knew they wouldn't take it because they like to
Yeah,
have sex
right,
with men.
Right,
That's part of it.
hopefully.
So where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them out so we can have sex with them.
Now, what do the liberals say? I've been dying to hear this because you were so excited when you found out.
Well, I wasn't excited, I was appalled.
Yeah, you said, wait, I got a story. You're like, what?
So when I was in seminary at Garrett, they said, well, the true sin of Sodom was the sin of hospitality. They didn't offer,
In hospitality, I've heard that too.
yeah, they didn't offer these people hospitality. So that's why God wiped them out,
What?
because they were in hospital,
Twist in the Bible.
twisting the Bible. And they say and that's why the Bible follows the story of Sodom and Gomorrah immediately after Abraham's abundant gratitude and hospitality. So,
To show the difference.
to show the difference. So that's how it gets twisted. But,
They were already on their way to do that,
right,
so.
right.
But that's
And they came and they
the
said
liberal.
to have sex with them. And so there's no confusion of what's going on when you go to the Hebrew interlinear Bible. The Hebrew text says yada. So they were going to have yada yada. Seriously, yada yada.
Yada yada.
So
It's Hebrew for sex.
the very same word yada was used in Genesis 4:1 when Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bore Cain. So the word that they used in here for sex, some of the people want to say that, well, okay, if you don't believe that it's hospitality is the reason why God wiped them out, it was rape that God wiped them out for. But that doesn't make sense either because the Hebrew word here was yada, which is just sex. Like I said, the same word that was used in Genesis 4:1, where Adam yada his wife, and she conceived and bore Cain.
Now, my verse does say, bring the men out to us so we can rape them. So
Oh.
it does use the word rape in this version.
Oh, mine doesn't. No.
No, this one just says sex.
But part of God's plan was that we would multiply and fill up the earth with people, and if men are having sex with men, that's not gonna happen.
Right. God tells us right in Genesis, go forth and multiply.
Right.
That was his plan for us. That's why he made men and women. So we would fulfill one of his commandments, to go forth and multiply. And as Sue said, guys and guys can't do that, girls and girls can't do that. It just doesn't work that way. So,
I have a question.
yeah.
So I actually looked up that definition and I saw two different things online, and one of them was rape. It meant the other one meant sex. So how do I know which one is accurate?
go to the Hebrew Interlinear Bible
Okay.
on the web, and it'll give you what the actual Hebrew word was. And so when we ever have any questions, we need to go back to as original text as we can get. Unfortunately, we don't have a full text of the Bible in Hebrew or Greek. We just have bits and pieces. But what we do have is pretty clear.
So it says yada, but then does it flat out say yada means sex?
Yeah. And usually what happens when they translated the Bible, what they tried to do is they tried to find words that were the same usage.
And this is because Adam and Eve, the word yada was used
Yep.
then,
Yep.
so.
Because the Hebrew language didn't have vowels until King David. Up until that time, it was all consonants. So you can imagine the trouble people had translating these words. You're reading from right to left. There's no vowels, and a lot of times there's no separation between the words. So translating a Bible, it's tough. It's tough work.
You know, you can see with all the translations that you
Right,
have.
and that's why we have so
I
many
mean,
different
really, the
translations.
versions.
Jim had to possibly take Hebrew.
Oh, God.
No, you did. At Dubuque, and he was so excited when he got to drop it because he couldn't do it.
I had the alphabet down. I started learning the words, and class started in September. I was at the end of July, and it's like, I can't do this. There's no way I'm going to pass. This was my last semester. So I petitioned. I'll do anything. So my professor said, okay, I'll let you study the book of Isaiah. You've got to read 4 books, write 3 papers. I said, done. I'll do that.
It's hard. We still have the cards if anyone wants
I've
them.
got the cards, I've got the books, and maybe one of these years I'll look it up when I become a proficient guitar player.
He'll sing in Hebrew.
So that means I'll probably hand my book down to my son because I'm never going to get proficient at the guitar. But yeah, it's
a hard language.
To imagine what you have to go through to translate the Bible. Just incredible.
When you listen to someone speak Hebrew, it is kind of a flowing
Yeah.
language.
Sing-song.
Yep. It's beautiful, and same thing with Greek. When you look at the writing, it's beautiful. It's interesting to study, but it's hard. And I'm just not a language person, so couldn't make it.
The Bible was first Hebrew, then Greek.
Well, no, the Old Testament was Hebrew,
Yeah.
and then the New Testament is Greek and Aramaic. Yeah. So, and then they translated it into Latin because that's what all the priests spoke, was Latin. And then Martin Luther came around and said, no, we shouldn't have priests reading the Bible for us. The Bible should be readable by every person. And that's when he said, we have to have the Bible in our own language. And of course, that started a whole bunch of problems. But that's why we're here, studying the Bible.
That's right.
So, yada yada.